In this video, we're going to go over how to divide mixed numbers. So the very first thing you need to do if you're going to divide something that's a mixed number is you need to change it to an improper fraction. And I'm going to put a link over here in the corner on my video on how to change a mixed number into an improper fraction. I'll also go over how to do it in this video. Once you change it to an improper fraction, then you need to use the rules for dividing fractions. I'm going to put a link in the corner over here on my video on how to divide fractions, what those rules are. But I'm also going to go over it in this first example that we're going to do. So change the mixed number into an improper fraction and then use the rules for dividing. The rules for dividing are flip the second one or write the reciprocal, change the division to multiplication, or as the elementary teacher would say, keep, change, flip. So let's look at an example. We're going to take 2 1/2 and divide it by 1 1/3. The very first thing I need to do is change these mixed numbers into improper fractions. That process is multiply these two together and then add it to the top. And those elementary teachers call this process Texas because you add and multiply. So let's do that. 2 times 2 is 4 plus 1 is 5. I've got 5 halves. That's what 2 1/2 is as an improper fraction. Divided by 1 1/3. Let's change this to an improper fraction. 3 times 1 is 3 plus 1 is 4. And I keep that denominator the same. Now I'm going to use the rules for dividing fractions. My rules are keep the first one, change this to multiplication, and flip the second fraction. 3/4. Now I need to use the rules for multiplying. My rules for multiplying are multiply the top numbers together. 5 times 3 is 15. Multiply the bottom numbers together. 2 times 4 is 8. Once I've multiplied, next thing I need to do is simplify this. I'm going to use these prime numbers to help me simplify this fraction. Here is a beginning list of those prime numbers I can use. So let's start with 2. Will 2 go into 15? 15 divided by 2, I get a decimal. That means 2 is not going to work. Let's try 3. 15 divided by 3. 3 will go into 15, but let's see if 3 will go into 8. 8 divided by 3. 3 is not going to work. Well, let's try 5. 15 divided by 5. It'll work for 15, but remember it's got to work for both of these. 8 divided by 5. It won't work for this bottom one. So 5 is not working. Let's try 7. 15 divided by 7. That's a decimal. As soon as I get to a number that's bigger than the ones in my fraction, that means this fraction right here is simplified. Again, it's not wrong to have your answer as an improper fraction unless the instructions say you can't have it as an improper fraction. If you need to change it to a mixed number, that's what the instructions say, then you need to change it to a mixed number. And I'll put a video over here in the corner on how to change an improper fraction to a mixed number. Read your instructions. If your instructions don't say to put it in one form or the other, then just leave it as an improper fraction.